thought our guys really competed tonight. Significantly different than the GW game. It's nice to see a young group respond. Yeah, it's still tough. We played well enough in stretches. We still had those stretches where we couldn't score. I thought we guarded really well. And then we had that segment where I think we were up 10, and shots weren't going down, and then they just really imposed their will on the offensive glass. I think we gave up 5 offensive rebounds in a row that led to free throws or baskets, and that was really a backbreaker.
How did you, whenever you get into a situation like that where you're up 10 and then you can start to feel it slip a little bit and go, how are you able to do some things to try and change that? Because it looked like, like you said, they got on a roll and it was a snowball kind of thing.
Well, the biggest thing is to keep your poise. I think that was the biggest thing we were telling the kids. Just keep the poise and just continue to play the way you're playing. Like, I'm a big believer, you don't get up 10 and then stop playing. You just do what you were doing well and continue to do it. And again, I thought we still had some good shots. The shots stopped going down, and then I really felt like it was more Xavier just imposing their will. I mean, Chris went with 3 bigs. I haven't seen him do that much all year. And they just pounded it inside and went to the offensive glass, and they hurt us on that. It wasn't like we stopped guarding. Again, we called the timeout. We tried to bring in a couple of fresh bodies. That didn't work great either. And again, I think sometimes, when you have a player like Samaji Christian, is such a go-to guy, he puts so much pressure on us trying to guard him, and we rotate to him, and then lead the lane to the offensive glass. So I think we just got to continue to execute better, get better shots. What my teams in the past have been able to do during that drought is we'd have very rarely we'd have empty possessions because if shots aren't going in, we had the ability to drive the basketball and get to the foul line. And we just didn't have that ability to do so tonight.
And Jim, you started with 3 freshmen tonight, first time all those guys together. What led the decision to take Sean out of the lineup, and how did you think the freshmen did as a group?
Well, I think it was more that I think the freshmen have been playing really well this year, really hard, really aggressively. I just felt it was time to give these guys an opportunity to start together. And at the same time, I'm trying to take a little bit of pressure off Sean. I think people have been focusing on him as one of the guys as a returning scorer, really crowding the space, so maybe giving him the opportunity to come off the bench, but maybe they're not as focused on him. But I just thought it was just time. We've lost a bunch in a row. The kids are still fighting, still believing, so it's not a bad idea to kind of mix some things up and see what happens. Like I thought Andre, Marhol really responded after a tough couple of weeks. So maybe, he learned from it and stepped up for him. So, by no means are we, giving up on Sean by any means. We're going to need Sean to make plays for us. Maybe it'll leave some pressure for him. But more so, I think it was the freshmen have deserved it. It really, every day. It's an everyday thing.
What do you say to your team after a game like this where they did compete so hard and play so hard, but yet still? I mean, I think even you did a lot of the things that you talk about with your philosophy.
Yeah, I mean, we fouled too much, but yeah, I mean, what I talked more about was the lesson learned from the GW game to this game. We've been playing more like this than we had against GW. GW, I didn't think the focus was there. I didn't think we had great effort. I thought we got beat on 50-50s. We got out-toughed. None of that happened tonight. I thought we played really hard, really aggressive. And the message to these guys, because again, every game, especially losses, but even wins, every game is an education, and you have to learn from every single game, especially when you're trying to build a program. And the glaring thing was, there's no surprise this was a close game with the effort we gave compared to, there's no surprise it wasn't a close game against GW with the effort we gave now. But it still came down to, we talked before the game and even at half, that if we out-rebounded them by 1, we were going to win this game. And it looks like it would have played out that way if we were to come up more with 3. So it's just something we got to keep building on. I thought the kids, they kept their head up. It's a resilient group for a group that, we're going through some hard times, and it ain't going to get any harder than it is right now. It's not, ever. But but they're resilient. You know, they came in yesterday with great focus and practice. We did some aggressive 50-50 drills, and guys were diving all over the place and banging each other around. And, you know, that's the lesson that we learned, is that's the way we're going to have to play to give ourselves a chance to win any of these games coming up.
Good.